Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can apply with those emotes. If you're a tier 2 subscriber, you also get the lovely blue emote, me as Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, Pat. But yeah, throw those emotes in the chat. If you're not a subscriber, you don't have to say any, use other people's emotes or just say hi or be a lurker. If you want to lurk, you can lurk. Lashbrook is here. Sharks2K is here. Welcome, Sharks2K. Ghost Valve is here. Welcome, everyone. I am currently at 35 out of 40 subscribers. John is here. Welcome, John. Lord Crashton's here saying, hey, Pat. Hey to you. So let's just be like, we'll say it. I'm going to stop trying to get to 50 subscribers. The goal is 40. If we hit 41, I'm not going to say anything. Once we hit 40, I don't say anything until we drop below 40. 40 is the new normal. It's a little younger than I am, but it's looking great. So yeah, the goal is 40. 50 used to be the goal. The goalposts have moved. We pushed the goalposts further in to make the game run a little faster. You got less distance to travel. Actually, we're actually at 34 subscribers. Just looked at that. Somebody's up for renewal. Their subscription just ended. So let me update that. Yeah, we're at 34 subscribers. Sharks2K says, yeah, I'm normal. Nice. Yeah, we're at 34 subscribers, and we're trying to get to 40, and I'm just going to do that. I'm not going to do the let's get to 35. All of that's out the window. 40 is where we want to be. And we would like to get there. So, if you want to subscribe to the old Build With Baer, you can do that now. You can cash money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime, link to your Twitch, do that. If you wanted to gift a sub to somebody in the community, you could do that as well. And they would appreciate it, certainly. And you join the gift sub leaderboard along with Aristophan. Lord Crashton says 40 is the new 50. Yeah, sure. All right, let's do it. Yeah. I mean, technically, is what I said. Yes. So, yeah. That's just what we're doing right now. Times are tough and they're going to get tougher for people. And that also includes your boy, Pat. Finances are not where I would like them at the moment. Model kits will still get purchased. Model kits will still get built. Streams will still happen. What probably won't happen as much is me buying model kits that are coming out later in the year. There will be less pre-orders in the second half of 2022. I still have plenty of stuff coming out throughout the rest of the year. I've got the part separator should be theoretically coming out this month, but it got postponed once already. In August, I should have the heavy arms and the Vayet and Mercurius double pack. In September, I'm getting the Marine type Gundam, or the Gundam Marine type, I should say. In October, the God Gundam Real Grade might actually come out. Let's see. And also the Shenlong Gundam High Grade, which is the new high grade to go along with like the Death Scythe and the Heavy Arms. The Heavy Arms Custom is Heavy Arms Custom in August. Yes, I said that. And then also at question mark times, sometime this year, are a reissue of the Gundam HG Dark Hound, and the Raider Gundam Full Mechanics is still question mark at this point. But this year. And then also in December, the Red Rider High Grade. So, I have stuff coming. Right now, I don't have anything pre-ordered that will arrive in 2023. So, right now, I just can't put money into kits for future Pat. Right now, I got to look at present Pat, and that's fine. So that's kind of why I'm pushing the whole subscriber thing, because Aristophan, there's Aristophan subscribing to tier 2. That's 47 months, currently on a 47-month streak, saying, hey, Pat, hello to you. Let's hit the old applause. And let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, and the site, the moat. Thank you very much, Aristophan, for being our tier 2 subscriber. Appreciate it very much. But yeah, one of the reasons why I'm pushing the, hey, we should get to 40 is because as of right now, that's how you get a payment. Right now, doing 40 subscribers is enough to hit the $100 threshold, so you get paid. So I would like to hit the $100 threshold. That may change in the future. Right now, it is still the $100 threshold for the United States. So that's why I put the push on getting to 40 so that every month I get a payout. Because if I don't get that payout, then I can't use that money for model kits. And then I have to wait until the next month to get a payout and then buy kits. And my backlog right now is good, question mark. I did just get a master grade that is going to take a while to build. But I have a bunch of high grades and one master grade. And I'm going to run out of them because, like I said, I have 3 kits supposedly coming in August, but any of those could get pushed back. They are premium Bandai, so they're less likely to get postponed than my pre-orders at Gundam Planet or USA Gundam Store. But that's still, like, totally plausible that they'll just get delayed. So, you know, that's why I push it. Thank you to everybody who's already a subscriber. But if you're not a subscriber, maybe become one. It would be neat. I think it would be cool. I'm going to reply to my own tweet. I'm going to hit the retweet there. We're working on the Alus Earthree. I always want to say Earthree. It's not Earthree, it's Earthree. The Alus Earthree Gundam from Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise, which is the sequel to Build Divers. What is that? What am I even talking about? Oh, hey, that shouldn't be in frame. Huh? That should not be in frame. Get out of here. There we go. Fine. Get over here. Be over there. Overhead light? What are you doing in my way? Anyway, what does this mean? Gundam Build Divers Re-Rise has a thing where a lot of the main characters have core Gundams. They are tiny little Gundams that then have armor around them. This is the Earthree Gundam, but it's been modified by the villain, which is why it's blue. Because it's that apparently that's an evil color in this. It should honestly, right? You want it to be red for villainous. It's not red. It's blue, but it's like evil blue. I heard the Earthree is coming back next year with Repop running the show. Lord Crashing, I didn't get that joke for a second. I was like, it was a next year with Oh, you mean like E3? Yes, the Earthree. It's not Earthree. It's Earthree. We've built the Earthree before. We did the Earthree with the mods, the modded pieces from another kit to replace it with some clear parts, and it fucking looked great. So the Earthree is a good kit. This is also, this thing has it's got the core, it's got the armor, and then it's got the Earthree, like the Earth armor, not the Earthree armor, the Earth armor, which is some extra parts, and then you modify the weapon, and then it has a second head, and I don't know why. I don't understand this third armor at all. It like doesn't have arms, but then it has like a weapon on its in a second head, and I don't understand, but I'm intrigued. You know what I mean? Anyway. The core won't be hard to build because it's tiny, because they're the cores with the armor over it. Sometimes the armor flies in on a vehicle. I don't believe this has that. I believe this is just you build it and then you're good. And it's got a blade weapon. We like blade weapons here. Also, it's got the blade weapon is an arm. It's a blade arm. It's not holding a sword. You take the hand away and put the blade there, and that fucking rules. I don't care where you're from. That's fucking cool. Anyway, let's start by building the body. You start with the body, and we'll be doing that here. We got to get our polycaps out. Our polycaps here are from, I don't know, doesn't have the year on it. Looks like. But these polycaps are used throughout the core Gundams. I haven't done a core in a little while. It should be an easy build. I don't have the markers written up there for this because we're only using the black marker on this kit. I could actually put these away, but I'll leave them out. This kit does not need, like, it's blue and gray and a different gray. And then a little bit of purple, but the purple's all clear. Check that purple out. Very good. So we don't have to do, we're not going to put any marker on the purple, but even if we did, the only marker we're using here is black. We could maybe use gray on this kind of like this version of the gray, but I think we're just going to do black for this. So it doesn't need anything to be gray. So we'll do that. So we're getting our polycaps out here because we are building the frame here. So we got one polycap there, one polycap there, and then put this here. All right, so as I start prepping this kit, getting together, start working on the chest of our core unit here, I guess we should start with the elephant in the room. That's right. Greg Miller has a WWE show for Peacock and the WWE Network outside, because you got to be on the network outside of the United States and everything else is on Peacock. Greg Miller is hosting a show called This Is Awesome, and it is apparently a nostalgia show about awesome moments from the history of WWE. Now, the actual format of the show, I don't know, because the tease was just like listing cool shit. I imagine it is clips of cool events, and perhaps it is talking heads chatting about it, similar to I Love the Decades or Best Week Ever, perhaps, that kind of style of talking head. You might think that VH1 stopped doing that and it's not out there, but let me tell you, those format shows are very inexpensive and still exist to this day. So that is complete and utter nonsense. And it's really weird that that Greg is hosting a show that debuts this Friday on Peacock. It's just a weird thing to say that Greg Miller is running a show, is hosting a show for WWE. That's just a weird thing. I think the third mode is just all the armor pieces stored together, like some sort of Ronin Warriors situation. I don't remember. So it's the third mode. It's not because some of these kits have a thing where it's just like the extra armor on a vehicle. That's not this, because if you can see here. Oh wait, I gotta find it in the manual here. This mode is like take a bunch of parts of the kit apart here, put the original, put a different head on, shove all these parts, but it's still the frame. It's still the core Gundam. Oh no, yeah, it's this part here. It's like storing the arms and all this other stuff. Yeah, so it's basically like this kind of like shell that you stick all the armor on, but instead of a vehicle like some of them, it's just like an armor case. But you put the regular head on, and then there's an extra head. Why is there an extra head? Why do you build an extra head? I don't understand. It's weird. It doesn't matter. It's just weird. Anyway, Greg Miller is running a show on WWE. There will probably be an ad for it on SmackDown. There might be an ad for it tonight. It's weird. I thought I didn't know anybody at that company anymore. I mean, he's not a WWE employee. He's a actor who made a deal to do something for the WWE. But I thought I was done knowing people that worked at WWE. Dan wasn't the last. I actually knew somebody else that was working there in their IT department in Stamford. But he no longer works there. And he was, I believe, the third person I knew that worked at that company in IT. I just happened to know people that their day jobs were doing support at Stamford, which is just weird. Imagine if Dan Record hosted a show that was on TV or Peacock. I'm imagining it. I would have to imagine that it was heavily edited. That there would be a lot of second and third takes. Because when Dan gets excited, he starts shouting. And that's not good for television. So I have to imagine that it would be also content, but certainly just for energy. It's weird. I mean, it's just weird enough to think about Greg doing that. It's just a strange thing. Um, anyway, that's not the big wrestling news, but that was the weird wrestling news, and I felt like I had to talk about it because someone I know has a show on Peacock now that isn't a comedian. Like, I have friends who have things they do on Peacock. I know most of the writers on the Amber Ruffin show because I have did comedy with them or facilitated them doing comedy for many years. So, like, it's weird. I actually know somebody that's probably going to go there because they, unfortunately, Samantha Bee's show has been not renewed. They are not renewing the show this fall on TBS, which people kind of assumed was probably going to happen. But I believe at least one person is going to be making the move to working on the Amber Ruffin show. You see, the only Greg on WWE TV since Greg the Hammer Valentine. It's possible. Has Matthew Gregg ever been on? No, I don't think Matthew has ever been. Matthew has been acknowledged. Matthew is the Gregory Helms. Yes, thank you, Lord Crashington. Yes, that's right. For a little while, Shane Helms was referred to as Gregory Helms. So yes. Yeah, I guess Shane Helms or Gregory Helms. But yeah, I don't think Matthew has ever been actually acknowledged by name. He's the Botchamania guy. He started with. Hey, here's a fun fact. If you only know Botchamania from like people talking about it, it's the YouTube channel dedicated to making videos about people just fucking up. He didn't create it or name it. Someone did 2 videos called Botchamania, and then they stopped. And then Greg was like, "I guess I'll do one," and then he stuck with it. But yeah, he just was like, "Okay, I guess I'm doing this now, forever." And then I will occasionally host some podcasts for Cultaholic in the future. It's very strange. And then also make an appearance on Arcade Pit. Yes, Sharks 2K. Yes, he was very recently on Arcade Pit, which is just a weird thing to say out loud, but also neat. He also follows me on Twitter, which is fun. He doesn't need to, but he does. A few people from Cultaholic follow me on Twitter, which is nice. Yes, he was louder than Dan. That was very fun. I mean, that show is difficult, like, to balance audio because they have a lot on their plates. But yeah. All right, we'll put here, put there. We're just doing a little panel line here. There's not a lot to do on these cores as far as panel lining goes, but you know, we can still make it look snazzy here. A little bit on marker here and there. Okay, so honestly, the big news is Triple H is now announced as the head of creative for the WWE and also still in charge of talent relations, which Sharks 2K. The only place that Matthew doesn't shout is the weekly Cultaholic podcast because he's in a room with 2 other people. And so I think the actual reason he shouts is he shouts in Zoom conversations. But if it's like in a room, he doesn't shout on the Cultaholic podcast. But anyway, yeah. So some people were like, "Oh no, it's a terrible idea to have your head of talent relations also be the head of creative because if you are having issues with creative and you are not feeling heard, you could at least approach someone in talent relations to be like, hey, this is happening right now. What is your advice? What should I do? I'm really feeling weird about all of this." Like you have someone that can be like in your corner and talk to them, right? Advocate for you. But I will say this. It seems to be that Triple H is receptive to people talking to him. So one would assume, hey, if the head of creative also is the person who looks at everyone's contracts and they sign these people, they would be interested in working with them and doing something with them because they are invested. Whereas the head of creative, if the head of creative has no input on who gets hired and who's, and how long their contracts are, they might not be inclined to, they're just in their own little world doing their own little thing. So it's better if those people are on the same page. Also take in consideration, to me anyway, this is my thought. I don't know what I'm talking about here. This is just my thoughts. It makes sense to me that it doesn't matter who's in charge of creative and who's in charge of talent relations. It only really matters if the person who is in charge of creative has a good communication with the people or person who decides who gets laid off. Because nothing ruins creative more than furloughing or laying off people that you were working with and that you were building a program around. When they're suddenly not employees anymore, that's when things get weird. Because it's just like, well, this stuff we were doing, I guess it doesn't fucking matter because that person doesn't work here anymore. Plans change and all that. So to me, that's the most important thing. I don't know the answer to that, if that's going to happen, but who knows? I am excited. Look, at some point, you just have to say, anyone but Vince. Vincent Kennedy McMahon no longer has the book. He's not CEO. Still certainly has authority within the company. He is still the majority shareholder of the company. So he still has certain power. But it looks, one would assume that he'd be calling stuff from afar, but probably doesn't necessarily have the same pull that he once did, especially with allegations. There will be more allegations coming very soon. They are not done with allegations. It was very fun to try to understand what it means to... The information that was presented today about why the board... I'm looking for A21, and I just can't find... Oh, no, there's A20. I need A21. Here's A19 and 22. Here's A11. Here's 16, 17, 18. Here's 20. There's 21. It's over here. This is not numbered well. Anyway, so here's the deal. Vincent Kennedy McMahon paid off some people to sign NDAs so that they would not talk about whatever the fuck happened, right? He paid that money out of his own pocket. And you're like, oh, good. He's free and in the clear. He used his own money, right? An argument is apparently being made that has some integrity to it or belief to it. That by having people sign NDAs, he was benefiting the company. And therefore, that money should have been reported because it benefited WWE. And it wasn't recorded. So when they made deals with Fox and they made deals with USA and they made other negotiations, they weren't presenting, WWE as a company were not presenting the actual worth of their company because their CEO lied, their CEO withheld information. So they were lying to people. So in a very twisted, fucked up way, by trying to make things disappear, it wasn't the making things disappear. It was that he should have made things disappear with company money and reported it. It should have been, hey, we paid these people some money to sign these documents. And then I guess people would have been like, good job. And they didn't do that. So because he didn't do that, that's why the board is like, no, you can't do that. Because the cover-up The cover up of nefarious shit. $14.6 million paid out to people. This sounds a bit like getting Al Capone on tax evasion. Yes, Aristophan. So again, I'm no lawyer. Do not ask me to represent you in a court of law. I will do a bad job. But this is apparently what's going on here. Is it was not the whatever fucking behavior led to the fact that he paid all that money and also NDAs. It's not about that. It wasn't any heinous shit that he did that was the problem. It was the fact that he didn't report earnings for the company. Didn't seem like much of a cover-up if so many wrestling fans knew much of what he's done and paid to keep quiet. That's exactly what they said on Wrestling with Regret. So, Lord Crashington, it's not about... So the thing is, the behavior isn't the part... It's the part that everybody knew, but nobody did anything about for years and years, right? It's how much money was spent. That's something people didn't know, was how much money. And also, people didn't know that it was his own money. Now, some of that was not his own money. Like when he paid the woman that he had an affair with, when he gave her basically double her regular income, that's company money. And somebody might get mad about that, but like the other payoffs are not company money, but should have been company money is the thing. And that's very weird to wrap your head around. Also, their Wall Street Journal has another article coming out this week, most likely, and that is the scuttlebutt is they are talking to people about what was in those NDAs, and then there is some other stuff, and then the trade WWE put out a statement. I don't remember the exact wording of it, but it basically the statement was basically like, we are cooperating with investigators because this, like I said, they negotiated with people with this money that should have been part of the company that was spent for the benefit of the company not being available. Like, federal regulators could be like, hey, what the fuck? And that part is the thing that is probably why he stepped down. It's not the skeletons in the closet. It does not matter about the skeletons. It was about the cover-up of it. It helps that WWE wants to be a legit company nowadays. Yes. So there's less leeway. Well, it's just a thing of like, oh, the thing you can't do is fuck with other people's money, right? You can fuck around with your own money. But when you start fucking with other people's money, then that's a problem. And this could fuck with other people's money. We've hit that point. You know, the CEO of the company and the founder of the company being a piece of garbage has never affected the bottom line negatively. Ever. It just never has. So, but what does affect the bottom line is investigations from the federal government. That definitely makes people nervous. And again, as Aristophan said, it's a little bit like getting Al Capone on tax evasion. Yeah, they're getting him on not reporting money, not getting him on total abuse of his power. Garbage. Anyway, good luck to Triple H. I did not watch any of Raw before the stream started. I will hear the replay stuff tomorrow from people. I did watch SmackDown on Friday. I will probably watch SmackDown this week because I do like some of the wrestlers that are on SmackDown, and also I do watch it with other people, and we talk about what we're watching, and that's fun. So I will probably do that, and we'll see. If Kevin Dunn goes, that would be great. At the very least, I would love for the direction of how the show is presented to change. I think that is vital. And we'll see. We'll see, things will we'll see where things go with storylines and wrestlers and all of that. Uh, I don't think that Austin Theory is going to lose his Money in the Bank and go back to NXT just because Vince McMahon really loved him. I also don't think that Max Dupree is coming. I do think that Max Dupree is fucked because he got taken out of a gimmick, and he was one of the last people that Triple H signed. But like, I don't know what Eli Drake slash LA Knight slash Max Dupree does right now. The public traded makes all the difference. Indeed, Sharks 2K. It's a big part of it. It's a big part of it. But even like outside of the like it being a public traded company, it's just that like again, it's being a garbage person versus being a garbage person that costs people money. The presentation of modern WWE turns me off so much. I too like a bunch of wrestlers, but can't watch more than 5 minutes of it. Yes, Sharks 2K. It's very difficult to watch the product consistently, and a large part of that is the quick cuts. It's the cuts on like, it's just like jump cutting around. It's like impact cuts, like a big kick, and you don't see the kick happen. You hear the kick happen and see like the results of the kick, but you don't see the kick, and it's like, what are we doing here? What is this? What am I watching? It's very rough and can be incredibly frustrating. And I don't mind backstage stuff. I do think that things come in so hot because Vince McMahon rips up the script before the show, like hours before the show. And then you end up stuff with like pacing that's just bad. Like, okay, we're doing an in-ring talk segment. Then we're going to cut to a backstage talk segment. Then we're going to cut to a video package about what happened last week. And then we'll see a live on-stage segment that is basically a recap of that recap. And that happened 2 weeks ago. And so it was like 35 minutes before wrestling, between wrestling. And it's just like, you can't. You could do all that shit, but you got to like break it up. It can be very frustrating to watch the product at the moment. So I am hopeful that there will be some sort of change. So Sharks 2K. Hunter Hearst. Oh, sorry. This is Aristophan. Sharks 2K. Yes. So he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley when he was a Connecticut blue blood. You know, he's from Greenwich, Connecticut, and he's a blue blood, and he like wore like he had like a riding crop, and he came out kind of regal ish, like he was regal. Not that he was like William Regal, although he did tag with William Regal when he was a French Canadian person or Frenchman. But eventually, when he became cool, he became Triple H because he's Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Oh, that's Triple H. So they're both his wrestling names. His name is Paul Levesque. Yes, they did go Trips. He's often called Trips. The Pish Posh, yes. Yeah, I don't know, Lashbrook. I occasionally see some dark matches. And those are good sometimes. But there's no like commentary. It's just them wrestling. And the live crowd seems to fucking like it. But I have been known to witness some dark matches that seem to go over pretty damn well. But yeah. It's Triple H. His name is Paul Levesque. But I don't know him. I can call him Paul. It's weird for me. It'd be very weird for me to call him Paul. Like, what if I called CM Punk Phil? That's not right. I don't know that dude. I can't do that. I have on occasion referred to some wrestlers that I know in real life as their in real life names because it's weirder. In that respect, it's weirder when you know their name and you like have been introduced to them as their name. It is weird to call them another name. There's a couple people like that just have that, but Oh God, I actually don't remember his real name right now, but he introduced himself to as that. So what is his name? We'll look it up. Yes, I met Dolph Ziggler, and we talked a little bit, and we were chatting, and I was producing a show that he was on, and he was like, and we chatted a little bit, and it was like, hey Harold, welcome, and I was like, so during the show, well, obviously, one thing I had asked before, because he was a WWE wrestler, I was like, can we refer to you as Dolph Ziggler? We can use your photos, but we don't know if we can refer to you as Dolph. And he was like, you can refer to me as Dolph. That's okay. I'm doing a comedy show, even if it's about wrestling. This is a comedy show, so we're okay. You know, say what you want. And I was like, great. And the other thing is, how do you want to be talked about? Like, when we talk to you, what do you want to be called? You know, when we're just shooting the shit. And he was like, I mean, you can call me Dolph or you can call me Nick. And I was like, great. That sounds awesome. You gave me both, so I don't know which one I'm going to do. But then he introduced himself to a few people as Nick. And so I just called him Dolph to other people. And I called him Nick to his face because that's what he introduced himself as. And I was like, all right, I guess that's what we're calling you. Sure. But when I would say like, oh yeah, Dolph Ziggler is doing our show, it was clearly I was going to say Dolph Ziggler because that is who we booked to be on the show. So I needed to respect the guy's name. All I know about Dolph is he's a Cleveland boy like The Miz. Well, there you go. But then there's like Jon Moxley. I understand why some wrestlers would probably call, like, that knew him for a period of time, might accidentally call him the name he used in WWE. But other people would just call him Mox because that's what they know him as. And that seems to be a thing for wrestlers. I would never do that because I don't know the man. If I was introduced to him, I would just say hi. And I would not inquire about what name he want to be to say. Now, if I was doing something like where they were like a panelist, I know the first name of a masked wrestler. And I would never say his name because he keeps kayfabe. He has never made an appearance for anybody in public without his mask on. His wedding photos, he is masked. I have seen him without his mask. I know his name. But I would never say his name in public because he's keeping it 100. And it would be rude. Reynold Mysterio Jr. Yeah, no, I know it's not Rey Mysterio. I don't know. But yeah, this particular wrestler is masked and I have not seen him. Now, another person I was on a Zoom call with for a thing, and we were chatting and everything was cool. And then some people left the Zoom and I was chatting to this wrestler and he was just like, hey, you know, and mentioned a few people. I was like, yeah, I know these people. Yeah. He was like, great. I'm taking my mask off. And I was like, okay. And he did. And it was like, fine, cool, okay. Because we were in the same circles. He would later do another show that I was doing. He is a retired wrestler right now. But I still won't say his name because there is a code. Especially amongst masked wrestlers. There is a lot to take into consideration among masked wrestlers that I take that very seriously because they take that shit very seriously. Some people don't as much, right? Like Wheeler Yuta, who wrestles for AEW. He's the Ring of Honor Pure Champion in AEW. Wheeler Yuta wore a mask. He doesn't mind that you know that. Doesn't mind that at all. We don't talk about it, but he doesn't mind that, right? Because he was wrestling as Yuta or Wheeler Yuta, and then he was also wrestling under a mask. And that's fine, because that was just like how he worked in Chikara, was a masked wrestler. There is a wrestler who is on AEW that worked mask, and we don't talk about that, because this gimmick is different from that gimmick. They're not the same person. And so it's like not brought up, because like it doesn't matter, and why would you bring it up? And then there's like Drew Gulak in WWE was a masked wrestler and also wrestled for the same company as Drew Gulak. And like, it's very funny because his moveset as a masked wrestler is different from his moveset as Drew Gulak. He made it very, like he did high flying stuff as a masked wrestler. He does not do high flying stuff as his current incarnation. And to me, that is fascinating. That he was like there are people out there who just because they don't look that shit up saw him wrestle in the same night, two different styles, one masked, one not masked, and that's very fascinating to me. I actually have some friends who call me Sharks IRL, introduce me as such sometimes. Some people are cool with it. Some get awkward fast, and I tell them it's okay to call me my birth name. So basically, I'm a wrestler too. Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the thing with having an internet persona, right? Like a name that is not your name. There are people who know you as that thing and refer to you as that thing. I have been pretty friendly with some people in the model kit building community, and I don't fucking know what they look like because they're VTubers, and it's not my place to know what they look like. But I don't know. I've heard their voices because I've heard their unprocessed voices because some of them do processors, some of them don't. They just do vocal tricks and just do character voice the entire time. But I've also talk to them or whatever. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know what their deal is. It's not my place. I've never asked. Be like, hey, what's your actual name? Like, no, I don't know. They're their other names. Because I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to slip up. It's like that thing where it's just like, there are a couple people. Thank you, Sharks 2K. I will hydrate in just a moment. Let me finish part of this waste here. There are some people it's like, hey, I don't remember what one of my friends' kid is named because it doesn't come up because they protect that name from the internet. And I've never met this child. So I don't remember what their kid's name is. And it probably is for the best. I could also just fucking ask sometime. But there are some people that keep that shit private because they only have so much they can keep private on the internet. So I'm just like, okay, sooner or later I'll remember that. I don't remember it right now. It's okay. I gotta hydrate. Sharks 2K. Thank you for using your channel points. Dirty says, I have the same issue with my brother's 7 kids. That's a lot of kids, right? And it's one thing if you are uber close with all of them, but if you're not, it's just like, that's a lot. We all have a lot to remember. Also, what's up, Dirty? Happy to have you here. We all have a lot on our plate. Like, that's just too many kids. I do remember several names of my friends' kids, just not all of them. The ones that get mentioned, I know them. I don't know all of them. I know all of the ones I've met. If I've met the kid, I know their name. But I don't remember all of them. And it's probably for the best, because I talk for a living. So it's probably for the best that I don't always remember things. Because there are some things that I have said on I don't regret podcast conversations or conversations on stream, this kind of thing. I don't regret when I say something that I'm like, I probably didn't need to say that. Like, I don't live in regret like that. But I am always in fear that someday I will say something that will be like, that's bad for somebody else. Not for me, but like bad for somebody. So it's probably better. You don't remember all their names. I know one just graduated. She was a Razorback. I think that's University of Arkansas. Yeah, Dirty, I don't know. Well, it's time to kid. Yeah, Lord Crushing it. Here's the thing, right? At some point, I don't think I'm ever going to be but that's weird to say. I'll say this. When it's my time to go, it will be graceful. We'll say that. I'm going to say it like that. That is my promise to you. If the tide ever turns on your friend Pat, and your friend Pat is in a position where like, oh, yeah, I can't do this anymore, then I will blend into the goddamn background and you will not hear from me. I will not I will not become a caricature of people who have been consequenced and who rebel against it and become the most monstrous version of themselves possible that play into all of the stereotypes that are presented when consequences rear their heads, when it's time to find out after they fucked around. I will say, what is this? There's a little bit of what's going on here? Is this? Yes. Okay. Get out of here. Oh, how about you go? No. How about you go over here? Great. Now you're not there. Okay. Good. This dang overhead thing. I never get it quite right these days. Anyway, that's a weird thing to say, but it's true. If I fucked around and it's time for me to find out, I will not go kicking and screaming. I will not talk about being canceled. I will not demand support and show up on garbage people's podcasts. Oh, God. This was a couple of years ago. There was this whole thing about a dev, a well-known, outspoken dev, wasn't being canceled, but like he said some shit and equated his struggles with other people's struggles in a way that people were like, hey, you can't. Like, I do understand, but you can't do that. And he was like, no, but what I'm saying is right. And people were like, yeah, you can be outraged, but like what you were saying right now fucking sucks and is bad. And then there were some people who were like, oh, you're being canceled? Like, oh, well, we need to support him and this blah, blah, blah. And those were bad actors who were looking to have a nice coup of, oh, this guy who's been canceled and now he's on our side. To which this particular developer, this outspoken developer, was like, no. He's like, no, I'll figure some shit out with these people. They're, like, I don't think they're right to be mad at me. He would later say they were right to be mad at me. But at the time, he was like, I don't think they're right to be mad at me. But I'm definitely not like fucking with you assholes. Gotta make the rounds of the Ben Shapiro show. Yeah, it's that kind of thing, right? Like, that's not... Like, I promise you, I will not... If consequences come to my door, if I fuck up so bad that, like, people are like, I can't believe this. Or people are like, I always knew it. I was waiting for it. Then I will say, I will not, like, you will not see me, like, burning every bridge. I will just fucking take a step back. Consequences creed at your door. Indeed. I mean, hey, I can be man enough to admit this shit, right? I took some money, directly, some money from a company owned by a shitbag. I have, Max Temkin, was on 404ing it. He supported me and he basically made his own company pay me money so that I could go and do some improv shows for them, and took care of my flights and hotels so I could go to PAXs that I otherwise would not have been able to afford to go to. There are people who probably have custom cards from Cards Against Humanity that I helped write and signed. There were 404-ings that I said, like, hey, they didn't tell me they had to, but I'm here because of the generosity of Cards Against Humanity. Thanks so much, Cards Against Humanity. Like, and then he's a fucking garbage person. He's a piece of shit. And if people were like, Pat, you did a lot of work with Cards Against Humanity, I've lost some respect for you. I'd be like, yeah, Yeah, it fucking sucks. I get it. Didn't defend the man on Twitter. Didn't go out of my way to be like, this is, the court of law, whatever. But I did take the money. And so if that's like a deal breaker, I fucking understand it's a deal breaker. I'm not going to fight people on that. You know? People who don't know me only know me publicly. People who know me privately that were hurt by my continued association with a man that had some accusations before he had way more accusations. Yeah, I understand. I fucking get it. And I think that's the way you have to be. It's like, yeah, totally. I mean, there are people who are mad at me because I was, I had a business, a short-term, very short-term business relationship with Oni, and they suck ass. And I'm like, yeah, but the people who suck ass at Oni didn't buy Oni when I was working with Oni, but also I understand. So it's just like, I'm not, it's like, I'll defend that like, well, the shitbags didn't work there when I was doing that. This is after that. But also, yeah, if you're like, no, Pat, no. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, fine. Yes, you and GB guys were in that whole, yes, there was a panel. I have said this publicly, and I will say it again. I'm one of the people that pushed for Cards Against Humanity and Giant Bomb to do the big panel they did. I named the panel because Giant Bomb folks were very busy with E3 prep. And I named the panel because I wanted the two of them to work together, the two groups to work together, so that we could have a main stage show. Because I wanted to have a main stage show and host it. And eventually I just ended up doing a bit and a couple bits in it. But the original idea was that I was going to help host the show and be the master of ceremonies. Because I wanted to fucking do a big comedy show at PAX. Also, I do stuff at PAX. That's cancelable. Because Mike fucking sucks, and he doesn't really have a control over Penny Arcade Expo, but he's still one of the founders of Penny Arcade, and that sucks. And to some people, that's a deal breaker. And to them, I say, yeah, I understand. I get it. Indeed. Thing that you didn't know was he was shitbag all the time. I don't hold against you or Loading Ready Run or Giant Bomb. Yeah, because some people even say like, hey, Loading Ready Run, when are you going to do Cards Against Humanity again? And they were like, we're not. We aren't going to do it anymore. But that's also because they started feeling bad about doing it because they all got older. And their audience got older. And also younger, new youngers. And they felt weird about it. But like, yeah, I've been associated. Hey, some real garbage people have done League of Heels. And I don't love that, but they have. I will say, our percentage numbers are lower than real wrestling. Like the amount of people that have done a League of Heels event that are garbage versus the amount of people that have done a League of Heels show that aren't garbage, that percentage is so much lower than real wrestling. But yeah, it's a lot of that stuff is just unfortunately part of life. Is yes, a wrist fan. It is a fucking low bar, but it is a bar. The bar is not in the dirt. It is still above dirt. But yeah, I mean, that is unfortunately a part of this, is that like you work with people. I mean, early in my comedy career, I produced a show for somebody I thought was very funny and wrote a comedy piece for him that was really good. Cast somebody that was really good in it. We did a show. It was really great. That person turned out to be a real monster. And I regret working with him, but at the time, I didn't have that information. The sketch I wrote for him was so fucking good. Such a good premise. He had a good... he had a very good Ringo Starr impression. Like, it was real, not like, oh, it's a British guy. It was a really good Ringo Starr impression. And the sketch I wrote for a friend of mine to be in was a guy who was Ringo Starr's #1 fan, but had never heard of the Beatles. So it was just references to Ringo's real life, but then like and real career, but not how he, but did not know anything about the Beatles. He'd be like, Abbey Road. I don't know. I'm sorry. Is that one of your new albums? I'm pretty current, but like, I don't know everything. He'd be like, no, it's what? It's a simple premise, but it was done very well. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I can't use this anywhere else probably because this guy fucking sucks. But it's a good joke. Oh, well. I almost made a joke on Twitter about G4 associating themselves with an insurrectionist, a.k.a. Chris Jericho, when they tweeted about having AEW people visit their booth at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, yeah, it's just like, look, was he there? No. Was his wife there? We don't fucking know. We don't know the answer to that. Does he have a lot of people with different viewpoints on his podcast? 100 fucking percent. 100% he has people who have different ideas from me. Yes. Was he visibly fucking unhappy when Jesse Ventura, who I don't always agree with, certainly, was like talking about January 6th and how mad he was? That's incredible. It's worth watching. Just the squirmingness of Jericho. It's pretty great. Anyway, I can't get into that. Look, long story short, when consequences knock on my door, I will not fight those consequences. If and when that happens. Even if, because here's the thing, because I know this, I'll say this. If it's unfair, you don't fight it. You can't fight it. You can't fight the mob because the mob has been justified a lot. And when they're not justified, they're still going to fucking do it. So you can't fight it. The trick is to not. The trick is to own up to shit. Yeah, it is. The honest to God thing is to always hold your heroes in check because everyone is fallible. And no one is above scrutiny. And you can be disappointed by people, but you shouldn't be in denial. When people tell you who they are, you should believe them. It's a cliche, but it's a fucking true cliche. So yeah, once presented with evidence about people, you'd be like, okay, wow, shit. Yes, 100%, right? I can't get into all of the parts of how it makes you feel good to be shitty to people and being justifiably mean feels great because it fucking does, and I can't make that change in me, and I certainly can't make that change in you, but be aware of it is the thing, and I try to be aware of it too. That's why I say it's like dunking on, look, sometimes dunking on people fucking rules. It fucking kicks ass, but you just have to be like, I am being petty right now. Just be aware of it. Be aware in your own skin when you are acting that way. And now I'm going to switch gears somehow from being talking about serious topics to plugging what I do here. Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. This is the pause for the cause. I am talking to you about ways you can support the channel. Everything I'm talking about here right now is optional. You don't have to do any of these things, but if you would like to, I would love it. We are currently, I'm just throwing the emotes in there. Yes, if you're currently a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe. If you're a tier 2 subscriber, you got the blue emote. Throwing the subscribers in there, throwing the emotes in there lets people know, hey, I'm a subscriber. I get these cool emotes. I don't see ads when the stream starts. These are little perks that I get here in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do. I'm 34 subscribers out of 40 right now. We got to get to 40 so I get paid. So, at a timely manner. So if you'd like to become a subscriber, it's a great time to do it. I'll give you a shout out. Your name will appear. If you wanted to use your Prime Gaming token, you got your Amazon Prime linked with your Twitch, you get that? Do that now. That would be great. If you wanted to gift a sub to someone in the community, Aristofan has gifted 5 subs in the community this month alone, and many, many more before that. If you want to join the gift sub leaderboard with Aristofan, gift one sub and you join that leaderboard. Also, bits and coins are always appreciated. If you want to join Harold on the bits leaderboard, you could do that as well. All of those things are optional. This is just one way to support what I do is through Twitch. And also, you can gift anonymously if you don't want the credit for your gift. If you just want to support somebody, you just do that. There are other ways to support me. I have a Patreon. This week, my patrons, all tiers, are going to receive the monthly Q&A. I'm going to record that later in this week because we're almost at the end of July. But yeah, I have a Patreon, patreon.com/PatBear, $1, $3, $5, $10 tiers. Different tiers, different rewards. Take a look, see if that's something you'd like to do. Would love for that. Also, hop on over to YouTube, youtube.com/PatBear. $2 a month to become a member there, and you get my Wednesday videos a day early. Tomorrow, you will receive, if you are a YouTube member, the next Do You Remembaer, my ongoing video series where I try to remember what I just read and talk about an article on the internet. I recorded that tonight, and it's pretty great. I learned something about the subject that I thought I knew a lot about. Didn't know all of that person's jobs. So that was fun. And also subscribing on my YouTube is free, and that's that's a way to support me for $0. And those are monthly ways to support me, but what if you want to support me, just cause, you just want to help me out, you're like, I have $10, Pat, I can't subscribe monthly, but I got $10 to throw your way. Well, there are ways you can do that with Coffee and PayPal and Stream Elements. And Stream Elements and Coffee, there will be a notification that'll pop up. I'll get a little alert that you did that. That won't happen with PayPal if you just want to be secretive about it. But that's another way to support me is through those lovely services. And everything I make through direct donations, through YouTube, through Patreon, through Twitch, all that money goes into a fund, and I buy model kits with that money. I have a bunch of stuff that I have purchased because of that, including this kit. The Alus Earthree was purchased with your generous funds, and thank you very much for that. It's already a cool looking kit. I have an Amazon wish list. If you buy something on my wish list, it jumps the queue. I've got that Heavy Arms Master Grade, which is legitimately my white whale. It is a thing that I've wanted to build for years and years. It's in my possession. I will be building it soon. You could be like, no, Pat, don't fucking build that kit. Instead, build this Lego set that I bought on your Amazon wish list. Because if you buy something on the wish list, it jumps the queue. So if you want to see me build the Wolverine mech armor, which is right now $8, I'll build that next. I got a little minifig of Wolverine, and then I'll build a cool mech with claws. And I'll have to do that next because you paid for it. But I got Lego sets, model kits there, some inexpensive, some high grades that are under $30. That's actually, there's the Zetus Gundam HG kit is $26 right now. That's a good price for a high grade on Amazon. So yeah, I got kits that are inexpensive, some kits that are very expensive. Some gear at the bottom. You buy some stuff, it jumps the queue, and make a video about it. That's the guarantee. And there's some gear there that would help me. Some of that gear, I don't need a bigger Elgato Stream Deck. It would be nice to have a bigger Stream Deck. I don't need it, but it's on the list because that's nice. A chair, a new chair would be pretty good. A stand for my third monitor, so I can stop using this old TV as my third monitor. That also would be pretty good. But again, you buy something there, it goes on the wish list. We'll get back to building real soon. Just want to go through that. I have a wish list on Throne. That is an alternative to Amazon because people have said that they would like to have an alternative to Amazon. So here's one of the alternatives. It's just another wish list. You check out, look at Throne. I believe I have crowdfunding turned on if you wanted to put money towards an object. And then USA Gundam Store. USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card there. They send you an email with the code. You then DM me on Twitter with that code, and I will buy something from USA Gundam Store, and they will ship it from Florida to me here in South Carolina. And it will act just like the other things that if you buy something from there, it gets treated like your, the wish list thing, the whole thing that I just said. My Discord is free, obviously. You can just join my Discord, hang out there. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. It's a nice little place. Cool little community. What What else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. I got a couple of video links for you to check out. Pat Bear's Anime Club. If you want to know about all of the Isekai that is out this season, I did a whole video on that. The only update on that video I have is Uncle from Another World is weekly on Netflix. They're not waiting till the end of the season, but they did have a 3-week delay. There is or a month there's a delay between when it airs in Japan and when it airs on Netflix in the US, but it is still weekly. It just was delayed. So that's my update on that video. Information I did not have when I recorded that video. And then Do You Remembaer is my video series I mentioned before. I read an article. I read the list of diss tracks. So I was just talking about every diss track I could remember from a list of diss tracks on Wikipedia. The first one being Yankee Doodle Dandy is a song that is meant to insult the colonists, sung by the British, and then eventually we were like, actually, I am a Yankee Doodle Dandy, thank you very much. And that is supposedly the first diss track. And that is hilarious. That's the first one. And the last one is a Lil Nas X song about the BET Awards, which is from like a month ago. All right, we're going to talk about some anime, and then we'll talk about some manga. We'll start with anime because it is Manga Monday, so we'll get to some manga. But we're gonna start with some anime. But before we do that, I have to drink some water and dramatically transition. Here we go. Dramatic. Oh, Sharks 2K wants me to hit the dance button. I will. Here's some dance music right now. Thank you for hitting the dance button. Appreciate that very much. I'm retweeting a tweet, see if we can get a few more friends to join us tonight. Thank you for using those channel points for a fun thing like that. All right, we are working on the shoulders, and then parts of the arms, and then the actual connection we could do there. But we did the shoulders here of the core unit. And then let's get into more of this arm stuff. And let's talk about, yeah, that's a fun song. All these songs in the dance category are all within the El Gato library. So they're all songs that I can use on both Twitch and YouTube without there being a problem, which is great. And I really appreciate the fact that is the deal. But let's talk about some anime. I got two shows to talk to you about. They are both isekais. That's just the way things worked out. That the two shows that I am watching that are on Sunday and Monday are both isekai. Parallel World Pharmacy. Shit is happening here. If you are unfamiliar with this series, if you forgot which one this was, it's the reincarnation isekai, where our main character, his name is Pharma with an F. He was a drug researcher. He was a pharmaceutical drug researcher. And he died, and then he has taken over the body of a young man that got struck by lightning in a fantasy world who is also studying to be a pharmacist and a doctor. He is of a royal line, Pharma is, and he has magic abilities. He got like the god of medicine blessed him, and he can do a bunch of cool magic shit, and then also, because he is a doctor, he knows about diseases, which came in handy here because, the Empress has tuberculosis. And also, his father has early signs of tuberculosis. And it's like, oh, that's fucked up because that is an incurable disease in this period, except our dude fucking knows what bacteria is, and he knows how to fight bacteria. So it's like, well, I'm a kid, and I don't know if people are going to believe me, but let's see if I can convince them that I have a treatment. And they're like, and the Empress is just like, look, I'm pretty good at judging people like with my divine arts. All right, go for it. He gets permission, And his dad is just like, what do we do? What are you talking about? What are we doing here? Like, there's no, like, yeah, I know she has the, it's the White Death or something. I know what she has, and there's no treatment for it. But like, it's my job as a doctor to, like, soothe the patient. And later, Pharma's just like, yeah, that's not something I really know. I don't have, like, he doesn't say bedside manner, but he's like, yeah, I don't have that knowledge. And this is the point where Pharma and his dad have, like, a magic fight, basically, because his dad is just like, what's happening right now? What's going on? Are you my son? What is this? To which he's just like, Pharma doesn't go like, hey, I am your son, but I also was reincarnated, and I'm from another world, and I'm a doctor there, and older. Like, he doesn't do that. But he is just like, hey, things have been different since I got struck by lightning, which is true. But he's still just like, he's kind of playing up the fact that, like, look, people are going to keep saying that I've been blessed by this god. And I don't know if that's true, but, like, look, if people believe me, then maybe they'll let me just do whatever. So his father believes him, lets him proceed. Pharma creates a treatment and also has to give everyone a crash course in what bacteria is. And he's like, they're tiny things that enter and cause disease, but we can fight them. And he's just like, we can eradicate this disease, for anybody. And people are just like, this shit rules. This is cool as hell. And a couple people are like, well, hey, why is this little kid so good at this? What's going on? Like, there's another doctor that is just like, what's happening right now? Like, what's going on? So the father, Pharma's father, is like, I am not totally convinced that you are my son, but I also know that you're, like, brilliant. So, and maybe and also he also thinks to himself, he didn't say it a lot, he thinks to himself, like, it's very clear that I have not been a good father to this kid, because I definitely don't know what's going on with him. And it's like, oh, that's kind of nice that he has, like, some self-awareness about what's going on. And Pharma's just like, yeah, I can learn a lot from you, and I look forward to learning more of what's going on. They come to, like, an understanding. Also, his father does agree to take the medicine because, as I said, he is showing symptoms of having tuberculosis as well, from treating the Empress, probably, or another noble that had it. But yeah, things are heating up there. Also, I should point out, there was a lot of cool magic here, and none of it was terrible CGI. It was all digital, and that's also the case for my Isekai life. I gained a second character class and became the strongest sage in the world. That is also an anime that does not have CGI in it, and that rules. I'm still a week behind on this show. Eventually, I'm going to get caught up. I should just do that. We'll just do, like, a mega anime stream where I just, like, have caught up, because I'm a week behind on that and, like, Phantom of the Idol. I should just do that where I get caught up on all my shows, and that's just like, hey, we're going to talk about anime longer in this stream because I have more anime to talk about. Let's probably end up doing that. I almost didn't put the connector that I need for the hands on here. Okay, so my Isekai life. Dude got summoned. Last episode, we kind of realized, hey, our main character probably got summoned, like, the spell that summoned him probably was set up like 30 years ago for the inevitable attack of this big dragon. The blue dragon of delight. This legendary, mythical beast dragon, which has, its wings are coming out of its head. It's a very cool design. And it has, like, whiskers that shoot lasers. Magic, but little lasers. And it's pretty fucking cool. And again, is digital and not computer generated. And that fucking rules. All right, we got our arms and shoulders here. We got 2 and 2. Now we can do the parts we need to make this into a hand. Wait, what else is that? Oh, I gotta do this part before I do that part. Okay. I need A31 and E1. Okay. Are you watching Blue Dragon? Can't be that. Yes. Chimino on High Dive. I am not watching Chimino. I don't believe. Let me look to see. I mean, I'm watching a couple things on High Dive. I am not watching Chimino on High Dive. I probably should be looking at it. Chimimo, I should say, not no. Chimimo is okay. This is very cute looking. It's based on a 4-panel thing. It's on Twitter and Instagram. There's that. It's an original animation that they then made a manga for it. I mean, yeah, this looks like a cute little comedy that maybe I should be checking out. I don't know. I have not been watching that. I will investigate. So anyway, this fucking dragon shows up, and Yuji's just like, well, I guess I gotta fight this dragon with this this magical dagger that was given to me by a priest. This priest basically is just like, hey, I think you could use this knife. You know, basically the priest in the last episode was like, hey, we were told that someone would be summoned to take care of this. We don't know where that person is. But they should have arrived a week ago, and Yuji was summoned a week ago. So like Yuji was summoned to take care of this shit. But he also, I love it because he's just like, oh yeah, somebody got summoned. Weird. Like even though he's very powerful. Yes, the Father Stell is just like, he's getting visions of things that are going on, but he's also like, he's being pretty vague about shit because he understands that Yuji is trying to be vague about shit, which I like. That he's just like, hey, yeah, here's this mythical dagger. You're probably going to need it because you want to punch those people, huh? I mean, you want to punch this thing and stab it. Anyway, this whole episode, like a good first half of this episode, is just Yuji gearing up to stab this ancient dragon, and then eventually put magic in it. Giving out dragons to cool people. Yeah, basically just like, hey, you're definitely like someone important. Here's this mythical dagger. We can't even tell what it's supposed to do, but he can. Yuji can see that it channels magic abilities. So his idea is, I'm going to stab this dragon with a knife, with a dagger, and then pour in magic into the dragon, which the first time takes out an eye. So like the first time does well, like does a good job, but it's not enough to kill this dragon. He needs to do it again, and then shoot it with some magic and all this other stuff. Because when he tries to burn the dragon, and the dragon's just like, nah, I'm good. So he's like, okay, I got to stab this thing and then burn it. Got it. Okay, so there's a notch here that needs to go in. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how this arm works. I think it goes like this. No, that doesn't look right. Sorry, everybody. Give me a second here as I attempt to figure out. Yeah, is that right? Okay. Maybe that's right. Yeah, okay. I think that's right. Sorry. This like took a little while for me to figure out like what this wanted me to do. Okay, yeah. I think I got that now. All right. Great. Nope, that did not stay on. Maybe it just doesn't stay on, right? But I think I'm just not doing it correctly. Yeah, okay. So I'm not doing this right. Sorry, buddy. I'll figure this out. Anyway, he defeats the dragon, and it's fucking cool. It is there we go. Okay, I got it. I did it. He defeats the dragon, and it fucking kicks ass. And then he's like, okay, his party is basically like, oh, are you not sticking around? He's like, no, I'm going to travel some more. The young ladies that know his secrets. So he's like, I got to go to another town. The leader of the guild leader is basically just like, so I guess I would thank the person that got rid of it. And she's like, yeah, why are you telling me that? He's like, yeah, I don't know. So he basically understands that Yuji is very strong. So Yuji's taken off. He's heading out. The Dryad. So finally, okay, I talked about this before. This show starts in like chapter 3 or 4 of the manga. It just like kind of starts out of nowhere. And so there were some backstories that never happened. Like in the first episode, he's helping out this Dryad, and we don't know anything about her, where she came from, or what her deal is. There's just a Dryad that he's friends with, and we don't know. Now we get a flashback. Apparently, one of the cultists left this stone that was absorbing her powers and stealing her powers, and he came across her at some point. Like within the last week, he came across her and was like, he dispelled the magic, the curse on that item, and then also fought the monsters that came out of the curse. He was just like, no, we're not doing this, and helped her out. And now she apparently, it looks like wherever there are trees, she can just show up, and she's just like, hey, you know where the dragon died? There are all these mushrooms, and you can make really high powered potions with that. You can make potions that heal wounds, and you can make potions that quickly refill mana. And our dude runs out of mana sometimes. So that's good. Also, Yuji does have the ability to use his health points instead of mana, which like feels like a cheat for a cheater like he is. But that's just a thing that he can do. So we get that flashback. We figured that stuff out. Leaves the Dryad. He's got his potions. And then he's heading out to this new town. On the way, they stop in this village. And everybody there is like staring at him and smiling. And there's like a fog surrounding them. And it's one of those things where like, oh, I don't think these creeps understand that they think they're being normal right now. These creeps are being fucking creeps, and they are not cognitive that they are fucking creepos. And it's kind of funny because he's just like, yeah, I'm not hungry. All right, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. Turns out they're cultists, because of course they are. They're part of this death cult that's trying to like destroy the world, because of course they are. Of course they're part of that cult. And they're going to a place that he just was. So there should still be one of his slimes, because he does leave like a slime or two everywhere he goes, so that he can quickly like send them spells or get to them. So that's setting up for the next one. Oh, also the town they were supposed to go to that's really relaxed and has like incredible food. For some reason that place is covered in snow, so something fucked up's happening there. So that'll be next episode, which again already aired because I'm a week behind on the show, because when it debuted with 2 episodes, and I just haven't watched the other show. I have to get caught up on that. Maybe I will at some point. Like I said, I'll just pick a day that's going to be getting caught up on all my anime day. But yeah, good so far. Enjoying it. Again, the fact that it's all digital and none of it's CG is really nice, because that's the thing that like is a bummer about like Black Summoner. Black Summoner has like that, and I'm just like, God damn it. I don't like the look of it, so it's frustrating. But yeah, that's a good series, and I'm enjoying watching it. All right. We have more time. I just want to point out that we are making really good progress on our cores, because of course we are. The cores are very fast to build because they are fucking tiny. Also, the small amount of purple on here feels very Decepticon. I'm really digging that. I am liking the color scheme of this kit. Oh, I guess we could panel line this a little bit here. We could panel line the hands. So that's all the anime that I want to talk to you about tonight. But don't worry, there's more Japanese stuff to chat about here because I do have a manga to talk about here. I got to do this. Sorry. Manga, because it's Manga Monday. So I have a manhwa and a manga to talk to you about. So I'm going to talk to you about Superhuman Battlefield. This is a fairly new manhwa. I think there's only like 15 chapters so far, so it's still very new, but got a good premise. So this is a fun one in that it is blending two subgenres in South Korean comics. If you've been watching the streams, you've heard a couple of them. One is the virtual reality video game. I don't read a lot of those, the ones of the like full VR experience, because the idea of being overpowered in a video game like doesn't to me have the same stakes as being like overpowered in a fantasy world. Unless you're trapped, if it's a death game and you're trapped there, that's one thing. But that's not a death game. These are not death games traditionally. These are just, I've been reborn and now I'm good at a video game. I'll use my knowledge to be good at the video game. I'm never really interested in that. This has that. This has characters and their avatars fighting each other using their abilities in a like, what if they cheat at a game and harass the devs when they're banned? Yeah, no, they usually don't go into harassment of devs, but I also would not enjoy that. So in this particular thing, it's country versus country. It's like battles with these people. Now, who are the people battling? I'm glad you asked. They are hunters. They are super-powered, awakened humans. Because in this world, when the dungeons appeared and the demons from another dimension showed up, a small amount of humans became incredibly powerful. And they fought the monsters. And they won. And then basically, after, like, when the world had been changed and these people with powers didn't have anything to do with them. So their governments were like, fight. It's basically like the things that they do in the game are based on like dungeons that happened in the past. Basically, they made all of these super powerful humans into like gladiators, kind of. And it's a weird concept, but I like the idea, right? So it's like the idea that like, and then Korea used to have the strongest. They had the strongest hunters. But some of the hunters left to go work for other countries. So they don't have those people anymore, and they've dropped, and they're like low tier. And of course, a lot of the oldest people who had these powers, they don't compete anymore. They're retired. One of them is running. He is like the head coach of Korea's team. And his daughter's on the team, and he's gotten a lot of flack and all that. And I have not mentioned the main character yet. Because the main character, for him, it's only been a couple days. For everyone else, it's been 17 years. He never came back from the last dungeon. He stayed behind. Because they won. There were still monsters. They beat the big bads, but there were still monsters left. And so he stayed behind. And for some reason, he managed to, even though like time slowed for him, he showed up. He just like literally fell out of the sky and came back. He was presumed dead, so his personal fortune was donated to charity like he had asked. So he's like, I don't have any money and I don't have anything to do. Also, I'm immortal now, apparently. Because, yeah, he has been blessed with immortality. He can't die. And also, his willpower is now over 100, which we learn later that should be the cap. He was one of those things, like, he was like, I was never the fastest or the strongest, but I had the ability to see people's potential. So he put together, like, the reason why the Koreans had, like, the best hunters in the world was because our main character, understood, like, oh, actually, your potential is in dexterity, and you don't be a tanker. Or, honestly, because of this, you should focus on, like, you should get a smaller shield, and you'll, like, you know, like, you can do this, this, and this. Like, he was very good at that because he could read people, including himself, so he understood what his growth potential was. But now his willpower is over 100, which means when he wants to use his willpower, he can raise all of his other stats, like, temporarily. So, like, but then also he's like, well, that's great, except we won, and all of the monsters are gone, so what do I do with this ability? And they're like, join the games, join the battle, like, join the Superhuman Battlefield. And he's just like, I'm not here to fucking mess around. And like, the thing is that, like, he's aware that he's getting conned into doing stuff. Like, oh, well, we'll do this one time, and we'll do it for charity. And this guy's already said you're doing it. And now, you know, and like, well, if you back out, and he's like forced to get involved. But because he found out that he can surpass his limits, he's kind of getting excited about it. Because also the only other thing this dude has is he has Korean dramas. He's getting caught up on all his Korean dramas that he missed. Because also he was very busy saving the world, so he didn't have a chance to keep up with his dramas. And now he's got the time to do it. And I really like that as a motivation. Just like, they're preempting my dramas to talk about me. I have to go fix this, which is fun. So that's Superhuman Battlefield. Again, I don't quite know where it's going. I imagine there's a global conflict that's coming up that he's going to have to deal with. Are all the demons defeated? I don't know. But the idea that they're playing, that this manhwa is combining two different subgenres together is kind of interesting. Yes, definitely Lord Crashington. He needs his stories, so he's got to be able to watch his stories. But the idea that they're like combining these two premises together, or these two subgenres together, is interesting to me. So I am going to keep reading it because I like it. Let's see, 23. Okay. The other the piece of manga, a Japanese story that I would like to tell you about is I Was Born as the Seventh. How many of them feature Subway? As far as I know, none of the manhwa I read wants me to eat fresh. As far as I know. Because I don't read the manhwa about the guy that came back, that lived a superpowered life and then came back to reality with no time passing, but then it uses his abilities to make his dad's bakery a success. And I think there is a Subway reference in that show, or that manhwa, and I am not. Oh, his K-dramas. I'm sure a lot of his K-dramas feature Subway, but we haven't seen that. But yes, but there is a Subway reference in the bakery manhwa that I'm not reading because it seems to be incredibly slow, and I just got bored of it before we even got there. No, I want to talk to you about I Was Born as the Seventh Prince. What should I do? It's a reincarnation isekai, right? Guy's like, hey, oh shit, I have all these memories. I know what's going on. I'm the seventh prince. Part of what I should do is, all the other princes have like things that they need to deal with, and they need to like, or like there's the crown prince, but other people are going to eventually like go study school magic somewhere. Because the real problem is, like, the people want to bring the princes into different political factions, right? And like, they're kids, and so they need people looking out for them. And also, our dude, our seventh son, is in a particular tough one because as soon as he's born, his mother is like, you're going to be the crown. You're going to be the next the king. You're just like your father. And everyone's just like, he's the seventh prince. Are you saying that you're going to try to usurp the current crown prince? And everyone's just like, we are fucking not hanging out with this lady. And she seems really desperate because turns out she's a tsundere with a little yandere thrown in. Our dude thankfully recognizes that this woman, like, she fell in love with the king, but she's like the third or fourth queen. So she doesn't get to see him too much. And she doesn't know how to act around him because she's like embarrassed about how much she likes him. So when she sees her son and he has the same hair and eye color, she's like, oh, well, like, I know now that, like, you're here, which means that, like, your father will have to pay attention to me and I'll be able to see him. And then eventually our dude has to be like, have an intervention with his father and his mother and be like, oh, you don't understand what she's like. Like, he doesn't, the father doesn't speak tsundere. So our dude has to, like, translate. So actually, mother really wants to talk to you. She said these things to get your attention and you were giving her space. She doesn't want space. She wants you to, like, take an interest. And father's like, doesn't understand this. Like, so he has to, like, translate. It's a really slow paced thing. Like, there's going to be some fucking drama coming. But, like, literally where I left off, there is a dude that is pretending to be someone else to get close to observe him. And then also, it looks like his mate is going to get kidnapped. So shit's going down. But our dude is like, his big plan is, before he, like, helps fix, like, his mother's relationship with his father, his big plan is like, okay, at some point, I'm going to have to become a commoner and get out of here because this environment sucks. But he's also, like, looking out for his two brothers and trying to keep them. Because he's like, once people figure out that I'm not the problem, they'll go after my brothers. He also meets all his brothers, and they're all, like, kind of dysfunctional in different ways. But this, like, very cute and very smart and very gifted younger brother, like, wins them all over. Like, there is definitely some drama with, like, the two brothers who have the same mother who are really close and, like, you know, like, what do you want from my brother? And it's just like, well, he's my brother too. And just whole, like, there's a lot of, like, drama stuff that happens there. But there's also a lot of sweetness of just, like, there's a point where all the brothers are together for the first time because our dude brought them all together. And there's, like, this point where another brother is just, like, that has a very stern face. Like, he's always wanted to approach his other brothers and, like, to make it work. And he finally has the opportunity to be like, he finally gets a chance to, like, talk to his little younger brothers and they aren't scared of him. And it's just, like, this really sweet thing that all seven brothers, like, have a chance to interact. I don't know. It's nice. I liked it a lot. It is a cute program, or cute manga. As I said, there's going to be some drama. But the thing I like about it is, like, you see him as a little kid, and then we don't cut into, like, the third chapter to him being, like, a teenager. Like, there is a time, like, an age, there is a jump, there's a time jump, but it's not, like, out of nowhere and like, nonsensical just to get to the good parts. Like, it doesn't go like, here's a young man, and now here he is at the Magic Academy, and now the whole thing is actually going to be a school manga, because we are going down that route. It's like, no, we're going to focus on him being a little kid that, you know, is a reincarnation and trying to, like, make sense of everything. And like I said, there will be some drama and all that, and we're leading into more chapters. I'm going to still keep reading it. It's not my favorite story I've ever read, not my favorite manga, but, like, I don't know. It's got some good points. I'm liking it so far. All right, I'm going to try to finish up these parts of this leg. We won't finish the legs tonight, but we're gonna get real close on it. Now it's a part of the stream where we talk about what are y'all playing, what are you watching, what are you engaging with right now. For me, I'm still doing some. I'm doing some lawn. I'm mowing some lawns, simulating lawn mowing, lawnmower simulator, and that is fine. I would describe that as a totally fine video game. It is very fucking British in a way that I appreciate and I'm enjoying. I like it. Also, hey, I started playing Yakuza 0 again. I don't know why. I was looking at my Steam library, looking for things to do yesterday, looking for a game to play, and I was like, well, I've beaten Yakuza 0. What if I played more Yakuza 0? So I'm just playing more Yakuza 0, and hey, guess what? That game still fucking kicks ass. That's still a very good video game. It is still paced really well. It still controls really well. I'm playing it on a better video game machine than I had. Better PC than I had last time. Which I'm noticing, there's a difference in it. It's running really well on this computer. It's a fucking good video game. Newsflash, Yakuza 0, one of my favorite video games of whenever it came out, 2019, 2018, whatever. One of my favorite video games of that year. Real good, and I'm playing it and really liking it. Lord Crashton finished the Arlong arc of One Piece. My favorite part of the English dub is that Arlong is voiced by Hercule's voice actor. Mr. Satan. So I enjoyed Luffy taking on Hulk Hogan style Fishman. I didn't know that. I've not watched the dub. Well, that means that Lord Crashton, you had the music that played, the bump 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 bump. That music that played when Luffy and Sanji and Zoro and who's the fourth person in there? I don't remember. They walk towards Arlong's place to go get some revenge. That music. That will not be the last time you hear that music cue of them going to get some shit done. It happens a few more times. It'll happen a few more times in One Piece. Usopp is the fourth person that's doing that. Yes, it's Usopp. It wasn't written in chat. I just remembered. I don't know why I couldn't remember that it was Usopp, but it was Usopp. We actually might. Yeah, we will finish these legs. Glad that Luffy had the big bounty on his head now. Yes. Smoker. What are other people watching? What are you playing? We have a little time left. I'm going to finish these legs up here, but I do want to hear from y'all. What are you playing? What are you watching? What's got you going? What's got you psyched? What's got you interested? In the world, I want to hear. I want to hear what media are you consuming? To be gross, I'll ask you that. But yeah, I want to hear from you, friends. You know about my anime. You know about my manga. Overlord. I'm caught up on Overlord. I'm not watching that weekly. I'm watching that in bursts. It's fine. The CGI is not too bad in this one so far. It was really ugly in the third season, so it hasn't been bad yet. I mean, it will probably get there as we get into the bigger budget fight scenes, but right now, Albedo has taken a bigger role, and I don't really particularly enjoy that character. But whatever, it's happening. Harold's getting back into Ooblets. Nice. Lashbrook says, did they ever redo early One Piece, or is there only the 4Kids version with a rap out there? I do not believe that. I don't know that for I can't tell you for sure, Lashbrook, because I don't pay attention to dubs. I don't think that there was a redo of One Piece by Funimation, in the same way that there's like different dubs in like Dragon Ball Z. Like there was the redub, like they went back and did the other episodes. I don't believe that is the case for One Piece. I think it's just the 4 kids, like pretty bad one. But again, I can't tell you that for sure because I watch subs, not dubs, traditionally. I'm on the Ferris wheel in Power Wash Simulator. Oh, it's all fine now, says Lord Grashton. Lord Grashton saying that apparently they did go back and do a better dub later. Well, that's good because the 4 kids dub / edit is not good. So, you're on the Ferris wheel, but had my PC randomly restart when I took a break for a few minutes. Had to start it over after being 94% complete. That sucks. I'm so sorry, Lord Grashton. That's a heartbreaker. That is unbelievably a heartbreaker there when you're like just 94% and you have to completely restart on the Ferris wheel, which has like, the Ferris wheel has some spots that are like very hard to see, if I remember correctly. Like you have to like turn it on, have it move around to then get some stuff. I just remember there being some, hey, why am I not done with this part yet? Oh, there was some dirt that I couldn't see sections that really frustrated me. Last work finished Hellsing Ultimate. It was good, but I felt like they rushed it a bit. Yes, that is definitely a show that feels like it had a budget and it had an episode order and they had to squeeze some shit in to get Hellsing Ultimate done to make it look good for the amount of money they had. It feels like they had to, like, they couldn't tell as long a story as they wanted to. So they had to really push it into episodes. That's what it feels like. Like they kept the episode order low. That's just what it feels like to me. I don't know for sure, but that's always what it felt like. All right, and there is the one leg done, and then we'll assemble the other leg. Aristophan is awaiting Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I don't really want to get into any new game. I understand. I hear you. That's kind of why I went fucking back to Yakuza. I was just like, I don't know. I love Yakuza 0. I kind of want to play Yakuza 0. This is like, that just feels like a thing that I would like to do at this very moment. And so I'm doing it. I just let the Ferris wheel on, so it's a little annoying for trying to clean while standing on the platform, but everything else is fine. Oh, okay, yeah, I turned it off because the sound of it I did not enjoy. So I would just turn it off and then occasionally have to turn it on. Also, I know I read it all the way a very long time ago, but I did not remember Ceres turning into GP03 Denodrium. Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you just forget things. That is just a part of life, my friend. Sometimes you're like, I consumed all of this, and I remember every moment. And they're like, oh, and also sometimes you rewatch things, and you're like, hey, I don't remember this happening at all. In the thing that I definitely enjoyed and watched, I don't remember any of these moments. Oops. That definitely happens. Anyway, we finished this core. It's evil looking because of the head and its big, this big one eye. It's just got one big eye. This also looks like an exosuit. It looks like a flight suit for like a villain, which I really like because of the colors. This core unit looks like an Iron Man villain, like a second-rate Iron Man villain. I don't know. It's pretty cool looking. But that's the core unit built. We still have to build the weapons, and then we can start putting together the, this is the Earthree core, and the Alus core. Now we got to build the Alus Gundam to go on the core, which requires moving a bunch of pieces around, like opening this up here, putting a bunch of stuff on. Got to build a bunch of new armor. If there's music on Ferris wheel, I'm not hearing it since I did the carousel achievement where you couldn't turn it off and didn't want to hear the music until I lost my mind. There you go. Yeah, obviously I'm not an achievement hunter. I'm definitely going to turn that carousel off. Fuck that shit. I mean, that's just not what I want to do. Anyway, that's the end of our stream. But is this the end of our evening? Also, close. We are going to raid. That is how we end every stream. We always end every stream with a raid. We're going to go find somebody out there doing some cool shit that we want to go hang out with. And we want to give them some support vis-a-vis going to their stream. So when I go on this raid, please come with me. We will find someone cool doing cool shit that we want to go hang out with. And I hope that you will go. Oh, Mary, I didn't know if Mary was going to be streaming because I know that Mary was traveling after her work trip. But she is apparently playing Stray. So let's just go hang out with Mary Kish as she plays some Stray. That sounds fun. Mary rules, and Stray is a fun game to watch on stream. So we'll do that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I'm going to set this raid up here. I'll be back on Wednesday. I didn't even plug it. Wednesday, you got to come back for me playing Pokemon Platinum Randomizer. She's dealing with 97-degree weather, so this is how she's relaxing. Well, there you go. So yeah, I am going to be playing Pokemon Platinum Randomizer, returning to my randomizer run. It has been a fucking while, but we're getting back into it. I don't remember where I left off. I'll probably do some grinding on Wednesday before the stream. Come back Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern for that. Then also come back on Thursday as we put some armor on this and turn this in from a core to a Gundam. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night and a great Tuesday. And come back on Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.